All eyes on Doge. Big run up. To the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big run up. To the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Upward movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.60. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
Hey everybody, Kriss here. Welcome on a Monday. How's everybody doing? We're doing okay. Little hangover from the Super Bowl yesterday, but yeah, you know, it's a game and then life goes on. So no more football till September. It's on to the next thing. But we got a lot to talk about here today. We're going to talk about the 4-year cycles again. Yes, it's important to talk about the 4-year cycles. And we're going to go back in history a few years when I first started talking about 4-year cycles and how I made the decision I made back then and what I think going forward. So we're going to cover that. And then I'm going to get into Q&A. So I had this last minute meeting pop up on my calendar at 4 o'clock. And I'm just like, damn, I'm busy at 4 o'clock. But I had enough time to at least put together all of the stuff I needed to get the live stream going. So I went ahead and launched it an hour earlier. And there was some early crew here. Some early crew right here at 4 o'clock. That's awesome. I have you trained well. That was just a way to let everybody know I'm going to be late starting the stream from my normal time. And that happens. That happens. But here we are now. So what do we have going on? Let me get down here in the corner and let's take a look. Dogecoin now at 964. We've been at this level, 969, right? 969 again and again and again. Now we had the V shape that we talked about here on Thursday and Friday. And since then, I drew this downward sloping resistance line. And what did we hit today? We hit that exact same line right here today. And it was Bitcoin also. Bitcoin had its line and it hit its resistance line as well. And then just a little bit ago, during my meeting, I must say, during my meeting, we had a wick down and they took out a bunch of long leverage. And I'm just, if you look behind you, turn around and look behind you, you'll see my desk. My desk is right there, right behind you. You see it? You see my desk? It's right behind you. That's where I do my work. But I had my whole system set up here and I had my speakers on. And I'm in the meeting and I start hearing the pinger. I'm in my meeting and I hear behind me, ping, ping, ping. And I'm just like, oh God, I forgot to turn the speakers down. So I have to turn my mic off during the meeting whenever I'm not talking. So they don't hear all the pinging going on. It's like, oh, what am I going to do? Anyway, we got through that. But that's where we are right now. Bitcoin's at 70K. And Doge is at just under 969. Now I said Doge was probably going to be trading here between 9.5 and 10.2. So this is going to be our new rectangle, but we did dip below it early this morning. And thus that was my video this morning. If you saw my video this morning, the Dogecoin Sunday pump and then a Monday dump, that Monday dump was going on. And that's what that video this morning was related to, was this pullback below 9.5 cents. Because that's my new rectangle, although I haven't actually drawn the rectangle because it triggers Charlotte, so I didn't do that. But this downward sloping resistance line is a thing, and we're at the top end of it, and same with Bitcoin. So that's where we start. We are now going to zoom out into the big, big scale. And what I mean by big is we're going to go to the weekly, and we're going to go into a logarithmic view. And the reason we do the logarithmic view is because when you zoom out, you get a much better you get a much better view of what's actually going on in terms of the price by percentage. And you see that I do have these 4 vertical blue lines. This one was actually the end of the year, and I do need to change that color. I forgot to do that. That's the new year. So we have these 4 vertical lines. These 4 vertical lines are the Bitcoin halvings. So that is that the number of coins given to miners per block is reduced by half every 4 years. That's what sets up the initial thoughts behind a 4-year cycle. It actually isn't exactly 4 years. It's 210,000 blocks per halving. And that 210,000 blocks, you would think, would time out exactly 4 years. But what actually happens is it's not exactly 4 years. It ends up being about 3 years and 11 months. So it's technically what I call a 3-year, 11-month cycle. And it has been very consistent. It has been very consistent. Pretty close. Because we had trying to see where we had that. What did we have the last halving here? Was April 15th, 2024, April 15th. Before that, it was the 27th of April. So it ended up being like 3 years and 11 and a half months. But then before that, it was June 2016. The halving actually happened in June. So it should have been June, May, and then April. But for some reason, the 2016 to 2020 slowed down a bit. And I think it was that early part of 2016 that did that, when there just wasn't a lot of Bitcoin trading going on. And then we had Amber. That's a good song. That Amber's a really good song. And then we had 3 years and 11 months between halvings. And so this is what the idea of the 4-year cycle started with, because Bitcoin, the rewards cut in half, the miners need to re-strategize, and consistently what has happened is that has eventually led to bull cycles. And all-time highs typically happen, some year and a half after the Bitcoin halving, as it has happened again and again and again. What's your problem, Joe's man? What's your problem? Ask me a question. It's a bear market. So what's your question? So anyway, that's the beginnings of the 4-year cycles. Now we also have 4-year financial cycles, which started in 2008 with the financial crisis. And it just seems like every 4 years there have been not really full recessions, but there has been slowdowns in the economy. In 2012, 2016, 2020, we know what happened there, and even 2024. So that has happened consistently in 4 years. We also have a presidential election in the United States, and that's every 4 years. And with that presidential election every 4 years, we see a change in leadership. We see a change in direction. And for many, they see that as an opportunity to flip the economy and move forward. So it's bull again. So that happens after the halvings. And we see the acceleration of Bitcoin after the Bitcoin halvings. It goes up. It goes up. It goes up. And yes, even this cycle, although not as explosive as some would have liked, but it did go up. Now watch it. Look at what happens to these, right? Vertical, a little less vertical, a little less vertical, and a little less vertical. And that is because what I call the diminishing returns, because the market cap of Bitcoin is so much larger that that's why that happens. So that is the theory around the 4-year cycle. We have had all-time highs in Bitcoin roughly a year and a half after every halving. There has been a Bitcoin all-time high for that cycle. And that has happened 4 times now. Bitcoin just had an all-time high on October 5th or 6th, $126,200. That was the top this cycle, and now we are in a bear market. And I'll show you more behind that. But that is big overview of the 4-year cycles. And this is in crypto. It's not in stocks. It's not in gold or silver or anything. This is crypto specific because it ties back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin still has a roughly 60% of the total market cap of all cryptos. Dogecoin does not have a curvature like Bitcoin, Jason. I'll show you that in a minute. It doesn't work the same way because Dogecoin is a meme coin. It goes on its own catalysts, so it doesn't follow this same pattern. But it's close. And what I say by close is Dogecoin front runs Bitcoin. Dogecoin consistently front runs Bitcoin starting at the end of 2017. At the end of 2017, Bitcoin hit $20,000. That was its new all-time high. Dogecoin also hit its all-time high. It was actually about a week after Bitcoin's is when the acceleration of Dogecoin and the hype around it finally ended. In 2021, there were 2 highs for Bitcoin. I should just get rid of these. I should get rid of these fib lines. I don't need these fib lines anymore. I can make them at any time again. So what happened in 2021 for Bitcoin? Bitcoin went on this huge run, 2020 into 2021, and went up to 64K. And then we had a pullback. That pullback was a combination of 3 things. One, the shorting of Dogecoin and Dogecoin dropping very quickly and taking most of the altcoin market with it. We had Elon suspending the acceptance of Bitcoin as payments for Tesla cars. And then we had China and the big ban. They've had a lot of little bans, but the big ban on mining, because there was a lot of Chinese mining going on at that time, and they prohibited it. And so we had this huge pullback in the price of Bitcoin. Now, what happened after that is Bitcoin went through the summer and then in the fall drove up to $69,000, which was the new Bitcoin all-time high. Dogecoin did not get a new all-time high late because it was so overhyped early in 2021. And so I'll show you that in a minute. So that's what happened there. And then we had the drop, a rise in the price, and then a further drop. That's what we had into 2022. And this is bear market. So we fast forward here, and guess what we get? We get, oh, there's a little relief rally in here too. Right here. There's a little relief rally. It's that one right there. So let me circle that. There's a relief rally that happens, which is that circle right there. I believe we are at the same point here. There's our relief rally. And then we have a second drop. And now we're at that arrow. That arrow was 60,000. That corresponded to this arrow here that we had in 2022 at 32,000. Our Bitcoin then went up to about 46K. And then we broke down because of the Luna crash and Celsius and Voyager and all of that stuff. Was that second move down. We had the first move, well, it's a 2-part move down. Then we had a move up, and I think we're going to get that move up in Bitcoin, and it's going to happen probably March. We don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to go up. And when it goes up, you're going to hear people saying, oh, the 4-year cycle's over. Let's go. Let's go. And you know what? It's going to be a total bull trap. And then it's going to drop. And we don't know what the narrative is that's going to cause it to drop a second time. This big drop. It's something different every 4 years. But that's what happens. So that's why I think we are going to have, and it's Bitcoin. We're going to look at Doge in a minute. So Bitcoin, I think we just had that drop to 60. We're going to see a move up. I think it's going to get up to 76, maybe 80K. And then we're going to drop lower. And where that is, I just drew it at 50K. So it's right around 50K. Could be 54, could be 49. People have a lot of theories based on fib lines and stuff, but I think we're going to do something like that. And that would be a rhyme, not a repeat, but a rhyme of 2022. And we're doing the same thing in 2026. Bear market. 4-year cycle, right? Crypto Rover said back in December 15th, 2025, the 4-year cycle is playing out exactly so far. And that was just after that first drop and then a bit of recovery. And that was before the end of the year. Bitcoin at that time was at a price of about 91K. And Crypto Rover was already saying, look, this thing is going to go through the summer, 364 bars, just like it did in 2022, 364 bars, 364 weeks between the all-time high and the low of the bear market, 364 weeks. So that would take from early October 2025, 126,200, you go 364, you get the end of September. The end of September is going to be, 364 days. Sorry. The end of September is going to be the low. If you follow that theory, that's going to be the low. And where's that low going to go? There's a lot of theories about that. Here is Ray. Ray did this 4-year cycle update in February. Now, I had already called a bear market back in November. That was even before Crypto Rover posted this. I was already calling bear. And that was like the first week in November. Because, again, we had the October 10th flash crash. We had the resettling, just trying to figure out what was going on. And then bear. So that's what I called, was that. And it's been playing out like I thought. So here, and this again was February, Bitcoin was at a price of about $72,000. And he was calling for this 52 weekly bars as a weekly chart of bear to the beginning of October. And he was trying to figure out what the percentage drop was going to be. And he said 71%, which is less than 77, which was the drop from all-time high to cycle low in 2022, which was 77%. And then from 2017 to 2018, we had 84%. And then even before that, we had 86%. So it's getting consecutively lower in terms of percentage gains, cycle after cycle after cycle, in terms of the pullbacks. Meanwhile, the percentage gains have been getting less, from 12,000% to 2,000 to 724% to what he's saying is probably going to be maybe 293% next cycle, and maybe we only go up to 150K. Law of diminishing returns. 150K. And you know what? That sounds kind of reasonable to me. You hear all these predictions about $1 million Bitcoin, and it's like, come on, dude. $1 million Bitcoin? No. No. So that's all still in play. And I am trading this. This is what I'm trading. I'm not buying here. I'm not buying here at this price. So Yes, April could be the big boom. And again, I'm calling it right here. I'm calling it. That's my arrow right here. Now, how big of a boom? Well, it depends. I mean, we went down to 60K. This could be anywhere from 76 to 84,000. That's all I think Bitcoin's going to do. And then the following cycle, yeah, Will, about 150. I think again of these laws of diminishing returns. And this guy, Ray, he had set it up exactly what I believed would be happening. And I know you guys want to be moon boys and you want to hear all these big numbers. There's plenty of people out there you can go listen to, but Kriss isn't one of those. April's going to break the cycle. Jason, ooh, bold prediction. Bold prediction. So now we move again. Big belly. And this is later in February. He posts this and he says 60,000 is not the bottom for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is following its 4-year cycle quite closely with a relatively high degree of repetition and very similar timing in many aspects. 2024, Bitcoin halving. 2025, the market surges dramatically. Bitcoin reaching a new all-time high. And that was actually 126,200. Then 2026, the market enters a bear phase. So we're in the bear. Now we're thinking what's going to go on. Now he's talking about the 2026 World Cup. And I mean, it happens over the summer. We know what happens usually with trading over the summer. Sell in May, go away, right? Come back in and start buying back in September. So that could be a thing. Now the World Cup itself is not going to cause Bitcoin to go down. But it's just going to be a coincidental thing that's happening. While everyone's focused on soccer, they're not going to be pumping the Bitcoin price, right? So Bitcoin could form its bottom later this year, and that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I believe. 2027, next year, marks the start of the recovery phase and the beginning of the new cycle leading into 2028. So for that, I point to this. This is the 4-year cycle risk bands, and these are charts put together by Rob at Digital Asset News. I showed these charts. There was an earlier version of this back in 2022, the end of 2022. And this is when I said, now is the time to start buying and accumulating at the bottom of the bear market, because 2023 was going to be a recovery year. What does that mean? That means if we look at cycle number 1, there was a Bitcoin halving. We have the halving year. Then we had the following year an all-time high. Then we had a dip, and then we had a reset year. Then that led to, from that reset year, then we had a halving in 2016. Then we had this acceleration in 2017. Then we had 2018 bear market, and then a reset year in 2019. Again, I showed these charts 3 years ago, and you can go back. It's all on my channel. It's all back there. When I was talking about 4-year cycles, I was doing it back then, 3 years ago. Now, almost 4 years ago. And then there was this. Initially in 2022, there was a guess of what it was going to be, and then Rob sort of filled it in with the actual price. And that's where I was buying, right there. That's where I was buying. End of 2022 and 2023 in through the summer. That's where I was accumulating. That's how I was able to profit a couple of million of dollars. Was because of that. I accumulated all right there. Now, Rob didn't know what was going to happen with cycle 4. He used the overlay of 2017, which at that time I said probably is not going to happen because of the bigger market cap. But the idea was 2024 is the halving year. 2025 would be the all-time high. 2026 would be a dip year, bear market, and then 2027 we reset. But I disagreed with his chart here. He should have not carried the 2017 chart, but he should have carried the 2021 chart then. And I said that then. But that was the thing. That was the thing. And so price-wise, he didn't know what would happen from the beginning, from the price where the halving was going to be and where the price was going to go for all-time high 2025. Eventually, it was 126,200, and it came in October based on the dates I showed you before. So there are boring years, right? There's boring years, right? At the end of the dip year, the bear market, and then the start of the reset and recovery. And so when do you buy? That's when you buy. That is when you buy. So that is the 4-year cycle. Mr. Crypto just today said, look, the 4-year cycle seems very valid this time too. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And here we are in the 364 days, which started on October 5th. And we're going to check and see whether that plays out, even though the news will be different. The way it works will be different, but it could be very similar. And I'm still following this. The patterns play out. Bitcoin is all digital. It's all numbers. Why not? I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but boy, this thing repeating again and again and again is certainly interesting. It's certainly interesting. Where am I going to start accumulating? On the dips in the summer. That's what I'm going to be accumulating. That's just my story, and that's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jason's right. And the whole thing just takes off and turns around because of some white swan event, right? that takes Bitcoin and crypto up to a new level in what would typically be the middle of a bear market. That could happen. And maybe I miss out on some of that run. Maybe. But that's not what I'm doing. So what does that mean for Dogecoin? Well, on Dogecoin, here's a Dogecoin chart. Dogecoin, I think, is going to do something similar. It's going to follow Bitcoin. I think Dogecoin, from this drop down to 8 cents, is probably going to come up to maybe 12 and a half cents. I think we're going to have a little bit of a run following Bitcoin. And then it's going to drop lower. And in the summer, we're going to see where that low, where that low is. Right now, it's at about 6.7 because Ryan likes that number. So it's as good a number as any. But that's also my fib retracement line that I did back in October that said 6.7. I don't know if Doge is going to go that low. It may end up with support, might be at 8 cents, and 8 cents is as low as we go. I don't know, but we'll see this summer. Buy me a lap dance. I'll take that. I hope it's a good one. Red Bull. I hope it's a good one. Now, you're going to say, but Kriss, Dogecoin didn't have a 4-year cycle, right? Dogecoin didn't have a 4-year cycle. And I say, well, look at this. It actually did. From 2017, it topped, went into a bear market. For Doge, the bear extended into 2020 before starting to wake up at the end of 2020. And then we had the huge run up to 73 cents, of which I discount that end of April run. This is on percentage wise. Now this is logarithmic on percentage wise. I discount that final push, and that its all-time high really should have been 35 cents because that was the second run of 2021 when Bitcoin went to 69K, Doge went to 35 cents. And I know you're going to say, oh, that's cheating, Kriss. That's cheating. It's not what happened. But that's my theory. You can have your own theory. That's my theory. Dogecoin's high was 35 cents. In that crazy run in April into early May, I discount that because that was all that hyped Elon stuff. So if we use that, like my theory, what did we have? We had a pullback, we had a relief rally, and then we had a deeper pullback. Well, first we had the mini relief rally, the pullback, a second relief rally, and then the deep pullback. And that deep pullback was in June 2022 when Doge hit 4.95 cents. That was the low of the bear market for Dogecoin. So what happened there? We continued and we ran in early 2024. Now, again, this overhyped thing that Dogecoin did in 2021 was before Bitcoin's all-time high. So I say Dogecoin front ran Bitcoin because of catalysts specifically for Dogecoin, because Dogecoin can run on its own. It doesn't need Bitcoin. It can just go on its own. So that's what happened. 2021 had the big run on Doge before Bitcoin went up in October, early November 2021. Same thing happened this cycle. Bitcoin's all-time high was early October. Dogecoin was moving up from summer lows. And then we had October 10th and that whole flash crash and everything turned around. But that green line right there was the upward sloping support line that I was tracking through 2025, and I was forecasting October until October 10th, crashed everything. That changed everything. You can see it really clearly here, from bullish to bearish, just like that on one day. On one day, it turned around. Bitcoin hit an all-time high early October. Dogecoin's cycle high front ran Bitcoin. Again, in December 2024, when Doge hit 48 cents. That's what happened. 4-year cycles are still in play. Dogecoin front ran Bitcoin the last 2 cycles. I believe Dogecoin will do that again. It's not going to wait until 2029 to go on a big run. Dogecoin's not going to wait that long. It's going to front run Bitcoin. But meanwhile, we got to get through the rest of the bear, which is, unfortunately, this move. We're going to have a move up. It's going to freak everybody out, but it's going to be a bull trap, and it's going to drop what I think is probably going to be lower. The 4-year cycle still in play. So that's my theory. I'm sticking with it until it's invalidated. But right now, there's nothing to invalidate it. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Let's do some Q&A. I just thought today was a good day to go through all of that stuff because it's a lot going on. Dogecoin might not be dead, but it's sure in a coma. Welcome to the bear market. Doge is in the doghouse, chilling. Welcome to the bear market. A bullish Elon tweet regarding X money and crypto integration could change everything, but he's not going to do it. He's not doing it. That's too bad, Aussie. I know. We would love to see it, but why LOL, Chudwack? What's your point on 8-cent LOL? Dogecoin did hit 8 cents. It bounced back up. That's what happened. Dogecoin is never dead. That's correct. Somebody put their life savings on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. Good for him. That's risky. It's risky. Hi, Kaimuk. How are you? Bear market still here. I'm just not streaming every day. I'm doing an every other day kind of thing now. Hello, Dogecoin family. David, yep. January. If I was still trying to be a bull and going through all of this and still believing it was this extended cycle or super cycle or all of that, I would have been like mentally fried. Thinking like a bear in a bear market is so much easier because you expect it and it happens. And it's like, okay, that dip to 8 cents didn't faze me because I already was thinking we were in a bear market and it played out. That's just the psychology of things, right? Got to watch out for those white swans. Oh, we want a big one though. And I believe Dogecoin, again, will go on a run before Bitcoin's next cycle all-time high. Again, that's how the 4-year cycles have played out. And I'm betting on Dogecoin to do that. And the pattern plays out less and less percentage up in gains. That's correct. But it also doesn't drop as much percentage-wise as it has in previous cycles. That is my so-called law of diminishing returns. With a higher market cap, you get $2 trillion, it's harder to move that, some big percentage, when it has $2 trillion of market cap. So that's how that works. Bitcoin's not going to die. Dogecoin's not going to die. There's going to be protesting during the World Cup. I can't believe all the protesting going on at the Olympics in Italy. It's like Antifa's out there and like all this other crap. It's like, man. Yeah, and if you zoom all the way out, Aussie's right. It still goes up. You see those rainbow charts, and it still goes up and to the right when you zoom way out. It's still up and to the right. But you wanna buy it on the lows, not the highs. You don't want to be buying it $120,000 like Michael Saylor in Strategy B was. So. I always heard how bad a bear stinks. Now I believe it. Javier says, now is the time to accumulate DCA. And there are many who believe that. I'm not in that group. I look at the charts, I look at the 4-year cycle, and I think, yeah, summertime. But that's just me. That's just me. Not yet, Aussie says. No way 8 cents is the bear market bottom. That's what I say. I didn't say 8 cents was. I said many believe that was it. Maybe support holds. Maybe something with Dogecoin happens. I don't see it happening very soon. But, yep. The guy put $33,000 life savings on Seahawks to win $49,000. How much do you have to pay in taxes for that kind of win? Just say like a third of it's gone. So to win 49, so he probably ended up only maybe half of that, maybe 25 to 30 would be my guess. He actually has net. 10.8 was your DCA, Jason? Oh, 21 DCA by average. Average is in the red. It'll come back up. I have a job. Still working. Will has 2 jobs. How long before the law of diminishing returns diminishes so much that it's flat? It evens out, but it still moves percentage-wise. It won't go flat. I mean, we saw what happened to gold and silver. Eventually, they went on a run for some other reason, and Bitcoin will probably do that. But it was pretty flat for a long time. I'm not accumulating right now, Dan. Nope, I am not. I think we're set to repeat the 2024 boom. My guess, 200% or more. Yeah, I agree. Some say 60 cents. That was in an article I read, a 60-cent move. So we'd have to be at, what, 20 cents for that 200% to play out? Is the math right? No. 200%. If we were at 6 cents, yeah, I don't know. That would be what, $6? No, if you have 10-cent Doge and you go 200%, that's 30 cents, right? I'm tired. I just view it as anything below 10 cents is worth buying. Timing the bottom is difficult. Yeah. Mine's also my situation too. I'm trying to rationalize myself with this because I don't have the money to spend right now because I still have to pay my 2025 taxes. So part of it is, well, I'm just going to believe that summer's going to be lower because I don't have the money, the extra money to be buying right now. So part of that is on me. I'm doing mini accumulation, working it down piece by piece. There you go. 2025 altcoin and Dogecoin was following 2017 cycles. Peak was like the first week of January. It was pretty close to the Bitcoin all-time high. My job is to fill as many bags as I can and then get paid when we finally go higher. Fill as many bags as I can. Yeah, I redid the math in my head. Yeah, I was getting around 30 cents from 10 to 30. That would be disappointing. If the next cycle's high in 2028 was only 30 cents, that would be disappointing. Of course, Dogecoin doesn't just trade like that. Dogecoin goes on crazy runs for one reason or another. And that's what I think we're going to see. But it's 2028. Jason thinks it might happen sooner. That's the problem. It's hard to do. Save now and buy later. I know it's hard. That's hard. A piece of siding blew off your house? Ugh. Dogecoin on X? Arcade? That would be a huge catalyst. Is that 2028? First we get X money, X payments, launch? Maybe late 2026? I know a year ago I said late 2025. It didn't happen. Elon lied. He's never good with schedules and planning. He's never good. He was saying we would be on Mars by the end of 2026, and now he's saying, oh, maybe the moon. Maybe the moon. He just sort of changes the script a little bit. It's like, Mars? No, moon. We got to go to moon first. We got to build bases on moon to make it easier to go to Mars. Changes it just a little bit. Are we going to see the summer of chop again? Probably for a good part of the summer. We will. Yeah. Is buying $5 of Bitcoin a day a good idea? Starting now in a bear market, yes. Last fall, when we were still in a bull market, no, not like Michael Saylor did. You end up then way, way below your average price, and you're having to fight to bring your average down as the bear market continues to get your average down so you're in profit again. And it could take months. You're in the camp that X money will not include crypto for a long time. Javier. I think there's going to be some kind of digital, like a stable coin or something probably, which people are calling crypto, which KrissPax says. Stable coins are not crypto. Stable coins are just digital dollars. That's all they are. It's just a digital dollar. Stable coin. It's a digital dollar. It's tied to fiat. It's tied to the US dollar. Not a cryptocurrency. But will X include crypto? Will there be the addition of digital assets besides stable coins? That is interesting. Elon promised he would support Dogecoin. The best way he could do it is to get it on X in some manner. As Jason says, it's coming. It's coming. With X money, 500%. I think once that comes, Maramello, I think Doge will be higher than it is now. And then we'll be doing that 500% move from a higher price than it is now. Those who are not buying at lower levels will be asking, is now a good time to buy Doge when it hits 69? Well, I mean, we saw it in the fall of 2024 when Doge was going up 25, 30, 35, and people were asking, is now a good time to buy? Because that's when all the hype was happening following President Trump winning the election, Elon Musk and Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, how all of that played out. And I was saying, I'm not buying here. I'm looking at taking slices of starting to take profits. Remember that? Kriss was saying, starting to take profits. There are still people who believe that I said to buy. And I was like, why would I be telling people to buy when I was selling and taking profits? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Get a bunch of windstorms up on the mountain. I thought the Bitcoin roadmap was pitched to Elon for X money. There may have been someone talking about Bitcoin to Elon. Elon doesn't want to hear that. He's going to do what he's going to do. Good point, DB. If you're holding nothing when the move up happens, you get nothing. Exactly. If you're not in the game, you can't win. Hey, Duchess. Welcome. At least Michael Saylor didn't buy at 126. He was close, though. He was close. Let's look at the the tracker, right? The Michael Saylor Bitcoin tracker. This one. He bought right near 120K. There's a big circle right there, giant circle at 120. He bought a ton of Bitcoin right there. Now it might be 119. I'm looking at the scale and it's like it's not exact. You can go to strategytracker.com. Let's try that out. Strategytracker.com. I've been wanting to go to this site. Strategy Tracker. Tracking the Bitcoin singularity. Now we just have to find the Saylor tracker here. Where does he have it? Where does he have it? Michael's strategy, total holdings, combined market cap. I don't see what the dots are. I don't see the dots. No. Somewhere is the dots, but I don't see them. I don't want to go to the conversation. I don't know where it is. Oh, well. Total Bitcoin holdings. Bitcoin price. Combined market cap. Nope. Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. But anyway. Yeah, Elon won't turn his back on his workers. My average cost is 17 cents and I want to buy for 2,000. So how much will my DCA will be after? I don't know the math on that. I don't know how you do that. It depends on how many coins you have and how much you buy. You can ask Grok. Just tell Grok. Your average cost is 17 cents. You have X number of Doge. If you buy $2,000 more worth of Doge at 9.6 cents, what's going to be my new average? And Grok will do it for you. Doge to $1. If listed on X, it'll hit $4.20. Those are good numbers. Yeah, I had 48 cents low roller. That was on Binance, which is the exchange I track. Your prediction of Dogecoin bear market, 2 cents to 3.6. Why do you say 80 to 90? Last cycle, it was like 84 maybe. And this cycle should be less. Moodang. We were looking at that like 2 years ago. Is that when Moodang was going crazy? I haven't thought about it since. I really haven't thought about it since. Doge volume is low if it's below a billion. A billion is like tired. That's how I treat it. It's like if it's below a billion, then that's low. A lot of people could have sold Doge at 40 cents. But those who didn't just want to blame Kriss. So hashtag blame Kriss. The old BTC roadmap reworked for Dogecoin. That was done long before Elon was involved. That was all done in 2014. And Elon didn't even know what Dogecoin was back then. When will we get a peak bull run? Yeah, 2028 for Doge. And then 2029 will be a top for Bitcoin if it follows the 4-year cycles. I know, 2029, that's so far away. Yep, it is. It is. That's how the markets have worked. You got out about 80% of your Doge around 30 cents. Yeah, I got out about 85% of mine between 42 and 32. Still holding the other 15% or so. I know, you could have sold, but you could have waited too. Yep. No way I'm holding any of my alts during bear market. Now, I still have my KrissPax DCA portfolio, and that was just that $10,000 buy in the middle of 2023. It's worth about $15,000 right now. It's still up. The whole portfolio is still up at about 15. A few more are now in the red, but overall it's still up 50% because we were buying at the bottom of the last bear market for alts. And the Bitcoin that I have in there was bought at like it was bought at about 26K, 26, 27, somewhere in there. This will be my second bear cycle holding like a pro. And you never know what the future is going to be. We're talking 4-year cycles just because there have been patterns, bulls and bears, but you don't know. And you probably sleep very well at night, Jason, because you don't worry about it. Because you're not going to swing trade. You're not going to try and sell and time the market and worry about when you're going to buy back in and all that. It's much easier to do what you're doing mentally, right? You just let it flow. It's all good. It's called the Sailor Tracker. I have no idea. Is that a thing? Because it said strategy on the Sailor Tracker. Loading. Ah, there it is. Thank you, Maramello. There it is. So what does it say right there? 116K. $18 million of Bitcoin. 117K. 111K. So maybe the highest he bought at was 117. $2.4 billion of Bitcoin. 21,000 Bitcoin on July 29th, 2025. That raised his average. Why was he buying Bitcoin at $117,000? And now he's under his average. That's a lot of Bitcoin. And that was the highest price he paid, and it was probably the largest total cost he ever paid, was $2.4 billion for any one purchase. Wow. $117,000 of Bitcoin. And that's when he goes all in. He's not very good at timing things. I mean, look at these big purchases here that he had. 88K, 97K, 55,000 Bitcoin, $5.4 billion at 97. No wonder he's underwater now. Thanks, Maramello, for getting me straight on that. I'm basing my opinion off of 4 or 5 unnecessary red months. Doge didn't go up that much for all of that downturn. No all-time high. Yeah, I think we'll get a relief rally. It'll probably be March into April. It's my guess. But it's going to be a bull trap. You sold all at 15 and then just bought more. That is a successful swing trade. Congratulations. Every sell is a taxable event too. That is correct. Pay your taxes now or pay your taxes later. I got big taxes to pay. But I put it into a house and I saved all of my equity. The house keeps going up in value through a bear market. $0.72 tonight. Duchess, I seriously feel if the New England Patriots would have wore their old uniforms and helmets, they would have won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Drake May had a bum shoulder. He got it shot up before the game. He couldn't even feel it. And their offensive line had 2 rookies on the left side that couldn't stop anything. They weren't going to win that game. Right. The summer might bleed red through, but April, May is a great bet. I think there's a good possibility of that. Again, look at how I'm explaining this on my charts. And for those just coming in, I went through the first half hour here going over this whole theory about the 4-year cycles. And I've got these big white arrows here as target points. There's a target point up here that's higher than where the price is now. I think we're going to have a relief rally. And that is going to be the bull trap. And then we're going to go back down lower, below this 8-cent mark right there. What I think is going to happen. No guarantees. But that's how I see things happen. So I'll just leave my arrows there and we'll see what happens. Right. For portfolios in profit, you're good. So 8 years to get new all-time highs. Well, again, Dogecoin trades different than Bitcoin. The 4-year cycles are based on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, all-time high, 2025. Next all-time high, 2029, every 4 years. We may not even see 73 cents for Doge in 2028. We might not see that. It might only be 60 cents or something. We don't know. It's going to be a lot more Dogecoin in 2028 than there is now. Set it, forget it. Easy peasy. Just easy peasy. Just, yeah. Maybe with Elon and SpaceX, with the Doge launch, we will get the integration on X around the same time. Okay, the whole Doge launch thing is a joke. It's a joke. If you've been following me on X, I've been going at it with Samuel Reed, the head of Geometric Energy, and all of his stupid shit tokens he's making. The G token and the Doge 1 token. He's just making tokens. He doesn't care about Dogecoin. He just happened to pay SpaceX in Dogecoin for the Vulcan ride up into space, which he and his partners weren't able to meet 2 years ago when they were actually going to do it. And meanwhile, he's been doing all these weird analytic math number things. I have no idea where that guy is. He's like on some other planet when it comes to that stuff. And he doesn't care about Dogecoin. He really doesn't. Unfortunately, that's what it is. It's called Doge 1 because he made a stupid shit token called the Doge 1 token. It has nothing to do with Dogecoin. And he's got this whole weird thing with a CubeSat that's going to go around the moon, and it's going to broadcast advertising and images back to Earth. It's weird. And you can advertise on it, but you have to pay in one of his stupid shit tokens to pay for advertising on his CubeSat that gets beamed from space back to Earth. Just weird. The whole thing's just weird. So I'm not a huge fan of the Doge 1 mission. It's just, once you really look at it and you get into the details, you're like, it's pretty sketch. It may not ever happen. It may not ever happen. And then he's out all that Doge. And Elon's like, thank you. Sitting in SpaceX's coffers, all that Dogecoin the guy paid. And he actually paid twice because he missed the first flight. And then Elon said, well, if you want to go on another flight, you got to pay some more. And he paid. I don't trust myself to time the market. I also don't trust the markets. Mini accumulation. There you go. And that's what Will does on bear markets. Buy lower or buy lowering your average. Don't plan on selling for a long time. So Doge OS is going to come out during the relief rally. That may happen. Maybe we get a little pump off that too. How are you going to come up with the money to pay all that tax now? Talk about Kriss has a plan. I got a plan for everything. It's a plan. I got it covered. Do you think that I just sold every last dollar and put it all into the house? So yeah, if we look at an 80% drop in Doge, we look at an 80% drop in Doge. What do we have so far? We've got 48 cents down to 8 cents, 83%. Done. It's already done it. It's already dropped 83% this cycle. I think that's why some people are saying 8 cents is the bottom, because it already did 83% right there. The Hawks did good, Ryan. You hate the new uniforms? The white ones don't look good, but the dark blue ones are pretty sharp. And that's what I was wearing on the live stream last night. If you guys saw, You can just watch a little bit of it. It's kind of fun. Past live streams, the Dogecoin halftime Super Bowl extravaganza right there. And you'll see me wearing my Patriots uniform. Yes, I did wear the Patriots uniform. The dark blue Flying Elvis. Yes, the Flying Elvis, it's called. Most altcoins didn't reach all-time highs. Yes, that is correct. I have to work and build my trading bankroll again, and then use the trading to help me retire. Good plan. I know I can make a living with trading. I messed up one bad time being greedy. You learn, right? Exactly. Good learning experience. And that's what happened in 2024. So many people were greedy. I was even a little bit greedy myself too. I took a slice at 42, and then I was like, I'll take my next slice at 50. And it didn't make it. It only made it to 48. My next sell order did not fill. And then when it started going back down, instead of selling again at 42, I waited because I thought, well, the Trump inauguration is going to pump the market. It's going to go higher. And then he launched that stupid Trump token, took all the liquidity out of all the meme coins. That was bad. Elon was asked about the Doge launch on X and answered it directly. Yeah, he said next year. Was there something more recent than that? That's all I heard, or all I saw was he said next year. So that would be 2027. I've read somewhere that Doge will be the same price as Bitcoin last year. No. That's pretty much impossible, Jahon, because there's so many more Dogecoins than Bitcoins. What's my 2028 prediction? We got to see what the bear market low is. So if the bear market low is 8 cents, make sure I'm on regular. Make sure this still plays out right. Yeah. I haven't done this before, so first time playing that out. 73 cents, the 1.618 Fibonacci, back to our previous all-time high. That would be 2028. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's right there at 73 cents. Wow. Hey, if you're into fib lines, there it is. 73 cents. It's like magical how these numbers work sometimes. But there it is. 2028 high, 73 cents, matching the 2021 totally overblown, hyped, Elon-inspired, crazy FOMO trading of Dogecoin. Wow. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. It's right there. Thanks for asking that, ADN. Thanks for asking that. You didn't even know who won, David. The Super Bowl. Well, Doge actually was good until it wasn't. In November into December, Doge was a cool thing. But then they started firing people. Non-essential workers in the government. And it was like, wait a second. This isn't a good thing anymore. And Elon took a lot of crap for that. He took the heat. Just straight on took the heat. And he was doing a good thing for the government. Ugh. That's politics for you. Bear market with small pumps from here until the 2028 elections. Yep. Yep, Danny. Yeah, Elon bought Doge into the White House and the swamp didn't like it. Exactly. Has to go lower than 8. Statistically, you would think that this cycle was so messed up because of October 10th. I mean, you look at this chart. I can get rid of the fib now. This chart does not look good on the weekly. Look at all these red candles from October 10th. That is not a good looking chart. And that just screams to me like it's going to keep going down. There's no support here as we hit 8 cents. There's no support here on the big scale. It's just down. Look at that. That is not a good looking chart. I might put another $25 into Doge, Elon, Mars, and Spell tokens. See what happens. VeChain, oh my God, VeChain is now at 0079. Look how much VeChain has dropped. That's huge. This is like almost all-time lows for VeChain right now. Almost all-time lows. Fib lines, I know, Jason, right? You know I don't believe in them. It tells a good story, though. The Doge chart looks like a falling chart. Yep, David, you're right. That's exactly what we're looking at here. It's not a good looking chart. We got that one relief rally there at the beginning of 2026. I think there will be another one of those coming somewhere March, April. We're going to have that. And then I think we're going to be summertime below 8 cents. That's just, people ask me what I think. That's what I think. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Are you staking stable coins? I am collecting free diamonds and crow coins. I don't have much cash on crypto.com. I've got a chunk on Robinhood, and that is earning, because Robinhood Gold, so I earn interest on that, and I have USDC on Coinbase, and I'm earning on that. So that was my plan for the bear market. That's what I'm doing. Do I see much of a future for VeChain? I don't hear anything about VeChain. I'm not following all those people, and can you make money on VeChain? Probably. I mean, the price is lower now than it's been in its almost entire existence. But we don't know what's going to happen to alts going forward. There's no money for buying alts. Just general alts. There's no money. So where's the money going to come from to create this alt season that people keep talking about? There's no money. There's no stimmy checks. There's no, there's going to be a tariff check. No, there's not. There's not going to be a tariff check. Not going to happen. There might be some tax breaks or something. Now they're talking about no capital gains tax on profits for next year. And I'm just like, why didn't you do that last year? Because I had profits. Well, no one's going to have profits in 2026. So yeah, it looks good. It sounds good, but no one's going to have profits. Once the Clarity Act passes, big institutions tokenize into the market faster, more efficient, cost-efficient transactions. Trillions aren't going to enter. They're not going to buy your alts. You'll be able to buy some Bitcoin, maybe it'll get some people to buy some alts. That's about it. I know it's 80% down and still in the top 10 coins worldwide. Hey, ADN, I tell everybody that all the time. We go onto CoinMarketCap, we say, oh, there it is, still number 9. Still the 9th largest cryptocurrency. Still gets all this negative FUD, particularly in a bear market, but it's still there. Still a top 10 coin. Dogecoin's dead. No, it's not. It's better than your alts, unless you hold Solana or XRP. Haven't heard from that Sheeb guy for a while. Oh, that's right. I banned him. He got the boot. I got tired of hearing it. Sheep. Are we going to have a government shutdown on Friday? I know. There's a lot of negative stuff still out there. They won't erase the capital gains tax. I know Trump can say what he wants all the time, but I don't think Congress is going to go for that. Congress wants their money. I agree. They're not going to erase that. BTC will then get to a new all-time high, and then alt season will happen in 2029. Who wants to wait for that? I don't think we're ever going to have an alt season like we had in 2021. I think Doge can help with a big run, and that'll get some excitement in some alts, but I don't think Bitcoin dominance is going to fall to like 40%. Jasmy will probably run as well. I'm looking to scoop up Jasmy at 003 again this summer, just like I did in the summer of 2023. I took Jasmy from 003 to 3 cents, a 10x. I'd like to do that again. That would be awesome. It's now at 0057. 0057. Here's where I bought it in the summer of 2023, down here at 003. That's where I bought it. And then I sold it up here at 3 cents. Right there. 3 cents. And that was in January 2025. That's where I sold, right there, 3 cents. I didn't sell it at 4 cents because that was December and I wasn't selling everything then, but I did sell it at 3 cents. So from 003 to 3 cents, that's a 10x. I'll take that any day. Any day for 2 years, 3x or 10x. I think Jasmy will do that again. So yeah, I'll scoop it up this summer. We'll see how low it goes. Hopefully, for my sake, it goes lower enough for me to buy at a lower price, but we don't know that for sure. But again, all of this looks very bearish still. Again, we had that little relief rally at the beginning of 2026 and then came down lower. Jasmy too. All alts are about the same. Dogecoins looks particularly bad. V-Chain could be a good play in a bear market if it drops to 003. There you go. Yep. Late 2026, you think there's going to be a Bitcoin all-time high in late 2026. That would totally break the 4-year cycle. You say we've been delayed from last cycle, even though Bitcoin hit an all-time high in October 2025. You say that bull cycle is still on, even though we're beyond the 4 years. We're now well into the 5th year. We don't know. Maybe that'll happen. The fear and greed chart has never been this low. Depends on which one you look at. I think the CoinMarketCap one is indeed at an all-time low on its fear and greed chart. Here. I think this is all-time low. Is what we just had. Yep. All. Now, they've only been tracking this since July 2023. These CoinMarketCaps. but it is at all-time low. It went down to 8. It's now 9. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. But the sentiment is bad. It still is. It could still get worse. Thank you, Kronos. Don't forget to smash the like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Appreciate the support. Try and keep it real here. That's what I do. I'm not a big moon boy. You get that. I know you want me to pump your bags. I can't do it. I can't do it. Can't do it. When people are fearful, be greedy. A little patience too, though. Maybe my patience won't play out and I won't get a lower price. I don't know, but that's my plan. That's my plan. See how that plays out. Smash likes or get the boot. No, you got to do something really, really bad to get the boot. Or just annoy me all to hell. And I just like, okay, I can't deal with this guy anymore. But that built up over lots of time. Mamba, I don't see much more downside for Doge. I mean, what are we going to see? 3 cents? 3 cents would be bad. If it's lower than last cycle's low of 4.95 cents, and we go lower this cycle, that would be bad. Now, a lot of other alts are already doing that. Like we just talked about VeChain. We can look at VeChain and we can say, man, VeChain, what happened? It's now at 0079. Its bottom of the last bear market was here, which was 1.3 cents. So VeChain has already dropped lower than its last bear market bottom. It's now all the way down to where it was in June of 2020. So everything from June of 2020 to now, all of that other VeChain is all underwater, especially this stuff way, 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 way up here. 18 cents to less than a penny. Wow. That's tough. Do I prefer Bitcoin or S&P? It's not one or the other. I have both. I have my whole 401k plan in a Vanguard 500 and Russell 2000. So I get that whole stock side. And right now, there's a lot more money in that because now I've got this house here. So, yeah, the fart coin went down bad too. And that is like 95%. Dogecoin only went down 83%, but fart coin, 95% drop. Those coins don't count. They're traded. They are traded. Poor Sheeb. Most likely will not recover. As well as Doge. I agree. A Litecoin will do well. Jahon. Proof of work cryptocurrency. OG just does its thing. Litecoin will do well. It'll be back up over $100. But probably not in 2026. I gave up on the Pokemon cards, low roller. I looked everywhere. My son stuck them somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he sold them. No, I don't think so. He would have told me. I have no idea. That's all made up, Mamba. UAE backing of sheep. That's a made up, out of context story. No. That's BS. Elon did not make an X token. Totally BS. Anthony. Mark my words, $60,000 for Bitcoin. Golf clap for Anthony. Golf clap. All news about Sheeb is made up. That's what I mean, Mamba. All news about Sheeb is made up. There is no reality to that. The UAE government doesn't even know what Sheeb is. All made up. ETC2, you still own it? I'm glad I got out of it when I did. But again, I was selling everything in January 2025, including ETH Classic. I sold right there, $25. I sold at $25, my ETH Classic. And now it's at 8. Did I get the high? Nope, I didn't. But 8. I caught it when it was going back up, sold, because all that tariff nonsense was happening. And that's where I sold. I bought it here, March of 2023, at about $19. So not a great percentage. 19 up to what, 25, 26. But I didn't hold it all the way down to 8. So low roller, you're holding bags till next bull market, unfortunately. I think a lot of the meme coins will disappear. Well, we call them meme tokens here, David, because they're not coins. There's only one meme coin, and that's Dogecoin. But all those other tokens, they'll hang around. There's small communities still around for them. Just praying, Doge, Elon, Mars, and all of those, just praying. Now, electric car startups are different because those are companies, for-profit companies that sell stock or whatever. There was all sorts of shenanigans going on with those. They can go bankrupt. Crypto never goes bankrupt. A coin is made, it still lives. It can still trade. So, yeah. Hey, Mamba, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Yeah. You will find story after story after story about what Sheeb's partnerships are and all that, and none of it is true. None of it. They have their own little ecosystem. The Sheeb swap and the Sheebarium and all of that, and nobody outside of the Sheeb army and Sheeb world cares. Nobody who used to build on Solana decided, you know what, I'm going to do a new project. I'm going to do it on Sheeb. No. One Doge equals one Doge, as always. Oh, Trump coin. No, Danny. I will not be tempted. I will not be tempted. Good luck, though. I tried to buy Doge when it was 005, could not figure out how to invest in it. Yeah. Doge Elon Mars is still there, still alive. You only put in $5 though, right? Don't go too crazy. Don't go too crazy. All right, my friends. Hey, that's the 4-year cycle thing. If you want to explain the 4-year cycle to anybody else, you just show them this live stream. Go ahead and share the live stream. As I went over the whole Bitcoin thing and how Doge followed, actually front ran the past 2 cycles. Doge front ran Bitcoin. because it's got its own catalysts and can do its own runs outside of what Bitcoin does. So we'll be watching it going forward and see whether Kriss's outlook of what happens going forward actually happens. We're going to play that out. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm around. So make sure you're subscribed to catch your notifications on. Thank you, DB. Appreciate it. Appreciate the super. Have a good one, my friend, and everybody else as well. Be live again on Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe, got notifications on. Let's do all of that. Until then, have a good one.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.